Hey everyone, First the T here. Thanks for checking out this YouTube channel. Congratulations, Webb Simpson, on winning the 2020 Waste Management Phoenix Open. Here's his post-win press conference interview.
I'd like to welcome Webb Simpson, winner of the 2020 Waste Management Phoenix Open. Webb, 10th start here, 5 top 10s, couple of close calls prior to today. So with that said, the win, moved to number 2 in the FedEx Cup standings. Obviously a great week for you. So just some initial thoughts.
Yeah, I flew out Monday to see Butch Harmon in Vegas, and so I started the week off right, I think, just getting a checkup from him. And 2 weeks of rest, I came in feeling ready to go. Slow start on Thursday. And I knew after Thursday I was going to have to put together a few good rounds, and I was able to do that Friday, Saturday. Today was a lot different. Today played tougher. I thought the pins were very tough. By far the toughest day of pins. Course was longer. We had wind. We hadn't had wind all week. So everything today was harder. And so to get in a couple under felt nice. And honestly, there on 15 when I drove in the water, Tony hit a great drive. I didn't think it was over, but I thought, I'm going to really have to do something special to get back in it. And thankfully, I birdied the last 2 to have a chance. And then repeated in the playoffs. So it feels great. It's been a year and a half since the Players, which is a long time, but it feels great.
I've heard you say a couple times down on the green that when it comes to playoffs, you haven't exactly had the best of luck. How'd you treat it differently today to get the job done?
I think what I learned at RSM was I relaxed a little bit. I felt like regulation is over. I just kind of let my guard down instead of, treating it as another hole, the 73rd hole, and continuing to stay very focused and very hungry to hit good shots. And I just tried to do that today, and thankfully, same club off the tee, same second shot, almost the exact same number, and has a very similar putt. So I think getting frustrated after RSM led to, being better prepared for today.
Okay. Well, with that, we'll take questions. Start with Cameron.
Paul was saying that you have step-by-step on your way. What's that about?
So I was reading an article about Jeff Bezos, and their company mantra or company phrase is step-by-step. And the article was just talking about how he's always tried to take every step, and the company take every step, whether little or big, but treat it really carefully and do the best they can at each step. And I just thought, this is a game with so many elements, players. We're playing outside that you can only control so much. And so about 2 years ago, I made my focus step by step. Just, when I go in the gym, I'm going to do the best I can. When I'm practicing, the best I can. So it's just a reminder for me to take care of the little things, and the big things seem to take care of themselves. At least a year, maybe longer. Yeah, maybe a year and a half.
Brian and Will.
What does it say that a guy who ranks 160th in driving distance, not only can hang out here but have the kind of run you've been on? And secondly, have you done anything to sort of chase distance or add distance?
Yeah, I hired Cornell Dreesen, a trainer, 3 years ago, and we set out on a journey to get longer, but very carefully because, precision, accuracy, distance control is something for me that's always been a strength and has to be a strength for me to play well because I don't hit it that far. And so we just went really slowly, and my speed is more. We've picked up 1.5 to 2 miles an hour for the last 2 years, and so we've made jumps. But I just didn't want to do it overnight. I didn't want to really take away from something I've always done, which is, when I'm, for the most part, playing well, hitting fairways. We have the luxury on the PGA Tour to pick where we want to play, which is a really nice luxury to have. And so I, on purpose, stay away from certain places that I don't think give me chances to win. And so I think for me, not hitting it that far but playing well the last couple of years is a lot of being smart about where I'm playing. And I don't mind playing longer tracks, but it's just harder to win.
Just a quick follow-up. you've been on quite a run really since the middle of last summer. But at any point did all those runner-ups, I think 4 of them, did any of that wear on you at all that you would come close but not one?
I think the thing that was helpful and encouraging to me that I kept telling myself was, I wasn't in contention at Memphis when I finished second. I had a great Sunday. Rory shoots 61 at RBC. JT Poston shoots 62. Tyler Duncan birdies 17 and 18 RSM, which is incredible on those 2 holes. And so I think it could have been easy for me to get down, but as you look at those tournaments, guys played great, and that's the way the game goes sometimes. Sometimes you get handed a trophy, somebody, bogeys a couple for you, but more times than not, you got to make birdies, and those guys did it.
Will, then back over here in the corner.
Webb, you're back in the top 10 in the world ranking for the first time since 2012. How would you assess or compare the state of your game currently to back in 12?
I think it's more well-rounded. I think I've had a lot of experience since then, learned a lot. And I really, I've mentioned this a couple times, I think. But a couple years ago, I was just a little bit tired of being inconsistent, and I wanted to be a more consistent player. And I started looking at the weaknesses and really learning from golf tournaments, whether I finished second or 30th or missed a cut. And so I think just becoming more of a student of the game and student of myself has helped. So I do feel just more well-rounded now. And I think, my time in the gym has led not necessarily to a lot of yards, but it's led to just more consistent feeling in my body when I, show up to the range. And that's a big deal. We're playing in different time zones, different environments, weather. And so to show up with the same body, week in, week out is actually a lot more important than I thought.
Webb, talk about your 2 putts on 18. They looked like almost similar length and similar area when you made them.
Yeah, the first one was I had it right center. Paul had a ball out, so we split our reads. I went right edge. I think that's what I did, right edge. And, he helped me there. And then in the playoff, it was a little shorter, more break. I was closer to pin high, and that was a cup out, right to left. And that one we agreed on, which made me feel better. And that one caught the right side.
On the playoff streak, which ended at 4 today on the losing streak, did you think about 2017 when you lost to Hideki on the 4th playoff hole? Did you say, oh, my goodness, Tony and I are going to go after this again for 4, maybe more holes?
Yeah, it came up. I was riding out asking what holes we were playing. They said we're just going to stay on 18 for, crowd purposes. But, yeah, past memories come up, but it happens so fast. We sign our card, we get in the cart, we tee off. It happens really fast. So I didn't have a whole lot of time to think.
Adam?
Was there a point where you regretted breaking the belly putter and the time period that you went through struggling with some anxiety with putting?
No, I broke the putter in November of 14. And so Japan, Dunlop Phoenix was my first event with a short putter. And Paul and I just agreed that if we get a year under our belt before the ban happens, it's only going to help us, even if we struggle. And that was a tough 2 years. But, my dad always told me, you got to hang in there. Like, no matter what life throws at you, your job throws at you, you just got to hang in there. Not that it's always going to turn out well, but if you're not ready for things to turn around, then they probably won't. So I just there was many frustrating moments, for sure. But I hung in there and tried a lot of different stuff and finally found something that works.
Cameron?
You and Tony are President's Cup teammates, and you're known pretty well. How hard is that when you play so well at the end to finally break through and then see what it does to the other guy? Golf can be so brutal.
Yeah, it's hard. I actually thought about that out there. He's one of my good friends on tour. We've talked about playing together in team events as partners. I'm comfortable with him. I love his caddy Greg, and so that part's hard. We're after the same thing. You never want to see a guy mess up. In a perfect world, you hit great shots and your score is one stroke lower. So I hope he doesn't feel bad about today because he played great. He was over par, and then he birdies 12 and 13 and hit great shots coming in. And he's a world-class player, as you guys know. I mean, I don't have to tell you, he's going to be around for a long time.
You go ahead.
Webb, as a man of faith, all this week has been focused on the death of Kobe Bryant. Tell us about that. Every time you went to 16, there was lots of Kobe stuff going on.
Yep.
About that as your plays as a man of faith.
Yeah, I mean, I tell you what, for a guy that I never knew, I don't think I've ever experienced, sadness for the death of someone, that I never knew, like I did with Kobe. And my caddy and I were talking about it the other night, and I asked him, why do you think, this one feels different? I mean, many people have died in my lifetime that I knew of, but I think just it hit home to me. He's 7 years older. He's 41. He has 4 kids. I have 5. He has 4 daughters. I have 4 daughters. And he seemed like he was at a place in his life where he's so excited about what's going on around him, what he's giving back to, what he's involved in. So I think that made it hard. But I hope his wife, Vanessa, and his kids have felt, what we've seen with what people are doing and how people are talking about how he impacted their life. So, yeah, it's, I watched the Lakers game the other night and LeBron, the tribute. So I've been thinking about it all week. And I love what they did on 16 today, 24 on, 8 left. My caddy and I were actually trying to figure out that last night. We're like, I've never seen that pin. What are they doing? And we didn't really think about it till this morning. But, yeah, I mean, my heart's still heavy, as I'm sure the world's is. It's going to be a while.
Cam?
Webb, what is your schedule going forward for the next month or so, and then how do you hope this kind of sets you up for the year?
All I know right now is that I'm going to play in Mexico and the Players. After that, I'm not sure. My schedule picks up starting with the Masters, and I play a good amount there after that. So I'm trying to pace myself. The fall, there's so many good events I'm going to play in the fall. But yeah, this is a nice start to the season. I hadn't played a lot, so far. So with the FedEx Cup the way it is, it's nice to have a few good finishes where I don't really have to play.
So piggyback on that Kobe question, you mentioned your heart being heavy, still processing it, but home 16 today is kind of a way to look at it as a celebration. Does that help?
I think so. I mean, even LeBron said that the other night that, they're going to have to turn, at some point, turn the sadness into celebrating his life. And I think that was well said. Yeah, I think it's just back and forth. One moment, I'm sure that people around Kobe's family are laughing and telling stories, and in another moment, they're crying. That's what we experienced with my dad 2 years ago. You don't really know what you're going to do until you go through it. But it feels better celebrating it. I mean, you got to get the tears out and be sad, but it feels good talking about the stories and what he meant to people and what he did in people's lives. That part helps you grieve better, I think.
Congratulations once again, Webb Simpson. What are your thoughts on the 2020 Waste Management Phoenix Open? Let me know in the comments section below, and please click on the thumbs up icon if you liked this video. Subscribing to this YouTube channel and sharing the video also helps, and don't forget to click on the notification button for this channel so you won't miss the next First 2T video.